The majority of my clients, when inquiring about investing in the Dubai real estate market, have a long-term investment strategy in mind. In other words, passive income. Buy an apartment and rent it out. This is the main request. If your goal is to preserve capital, legalize it, and obtain a stable currency cash flow of income, then you are in the right place. Today we will talk about this strategy. With you is Daniil for Dubai. I will tell you about all the pitfalls. I will tell you about the options in which you should never invest money if you don't want to be deceived. And of course, I'll give examples of specific projects that can be considered now. So let's begin. In general, there are two primary investment strategies. It is either purchasing an apartment for the purpose of resale or acquiring it for the purpose of rental. I have already discussed the first strategy of flipping quick resales in another video. Take a look if you're interested, because there I debunk all the myths, caution you against high expectations, as that's exactly where all those disappointed investors are, who claimed they were promised the world but barely escaped with their capital intact and ended up with a fraction of what they had initially invested. That's all from there. And normal, let's call them in quotes, meaning rational, experienced, conservative investors, they understand that in reality the most reliable strategy is precisely passive income. A conservative, long-term strategy. Here I will immediately warn you about a common mistake. At first glance, it may seem that if you are talking about real estate resale, then you buy it at the construction stage, in the pit, and then resell it at some point, maybe already at the completion stage. And if you need to buy real estate for rental purposes, then it makes sense to consider a ready-made property. So you purchased it immediately, and then you promptly rented it out. In fact, the majority of investors, specifically those who invest for passive income, also buy property off-plan. There are several reasons and explanations for this. Firstly, it is cheaper. And if you calculate your annual profitability as ROI, it is more pleasant to calculate this profitability from a low price at the start of the sale, rather than from an already somewhat inflated price for ready-made properties. In addition, I've mentioned many times how many challenges await if you decide to buy a resale property, meaning you need to live here, orient yourself here, keep an eye on the market, and maybe seize urgent opportunities. It is possible and you can succeed there, but for that you need to already know the market, and preferably from the inside. If this is your first experience in investing, especially in Dubai, then it is definitely best to work with a developer. Firstly, you'll protect yourself from possible manipulations and buying illiquid property, where, for example, 15 Indians live next door in an apartment, and outside there's a beautiful glass facade, and you won't understand this, maybe not even right away, even if you visit the place. In the future, you might encounter challenges when attempting to resell this project in order to withdraw funds and recoup your investments. And who will you be repaying later? To 15 Indians? Turning this into sharing? It's quite something, you know? This definitely needs to be done while living here within the market. Plus, it's important to understand that not all clients, buyers, have the ability to pay all funds immediately. They must fly in person for the deal on this secondary market. It's often easy to withdraw funds from your business or any jurisdictions gradually, paying in installments. By the way, I would like to mention that if you happen to have the budget fully available and you do not need installment payments, developers provide particularly advantageous and favorable conditions for making the full payment without the need for installments. We'll also talk about this. Besides, when discussing the benefits of working with primary market properties, with offers from the developer, here you're buying a project that will be as modern as possible. So, its liquidity will be high again in 3 to 5 to 10 years, because if you buy an apartment in a ready-made building, let's say, in 3 to 5 years it will already be outdated if it wasn't the most modern there. Real estate in Dubai becomes outdated rapidly. A 20-year-old house is already considered old. I have discussed this multiple times, provided examples to illustrate the rapid wear and demographic changes in Dubai. Various sharings, partnerships, and so on begin. It's not about the liquidity, reliability, and long-term nature of your investments. If you purchase something today at a construction site, the structures that will be erected in 3 years will already be constructed according to new standards, new projects, including design standards, amenities, thereby making them more appealing to your tenants. You will win in the competitive struggle and be able to rent out your property at a higher price. Well, in general, I have told you about all these advantages of working with new developments. So, let us take a closer look at the primary market, where you purchase a unit directly from the manufacturer, from the developer. Here are two additional options. Either you take an apartment that is, well, a flat in Russian. There are no residential apartments in Dubai, only hotel units are available in this location. Residential properties are referred to as residential, whereas hotel properties are categorized into two types. Income from real estate, both types can be rented out, but when you possess a hotel unit, there is a hotel operator who provides their services, and they will compensate you the yield on your unit without any hassle, often purportedly even higher than the prevailing market rates. And this is exactly what I want to warn you about the most, because I firstly myself, when I first arrived in Dubai and started reviewing various developers' market offerings about a year and a half ago, I was reviewing the offerings of a company specializing in hotel construction and sale of these hotel units. I just caught a mountain of hate. People started writing in the comments, those people who got burned on this. I began to delve deeper into this issue, and I realized that there is actually a dark forest there. So those who propose such a scheme, specifically the hotel operators, the company responsible for managing, actually incorporate a substantial number of intricate nuances into their contractual agreement. Well, for example, what you receive as interest is actually not from income but from profit, and profit itself includes expenses. Those that are not transparent will not provide you with info on the structure of this expenditure. Moreover, the rate of occupancy of this hotel. Some units have been sold, while some units remain company-owned. What will be the occupancy rate and how much income will your unit generate? In practice, individuals frequently state that the initially mentioned 8% or greater yearly returns transform into 5% or lower. So, in fact, you are in a discriminated situation. And in the future, when this situation becomes visible and clear during the hotel operation, it will be very difficult for you to get rid of this unit, and you won't be able to do anything else with it. You can't rent it out yourself. You can't even live there. You have to, in a way, contribute and be satisfied with the, in summary, income that is provided to you. Actually, the ROI on bank deposits in this location can frequently exceed the ROI from hotel apartments of this kind. Although at first glance it's a beautiful package, who will be the professionals managing the daily rental? What could be more profitable? But not your concern, they see it in a way more profitable for them. Therefore, I definitely recommend that if you plan to invest for passive income, choose real estate that you can manage according to your own discretion. So you take an apartment that you can rent out, for example, on a long-term contract to a specific tenant, sign an annual contract with them, and register it with DLD. And get stable payment from it. People often come with their own furniture, it's common here, then extend contract for second, third year, and you don't need to worry about anything, no headaches, no need to stress. And here, on the spot, they themselves enter into agreements with utility companies, pay for utilities, for maintenance, and they already do this themselves under their own documents. And these should be tenants who have local residency, meaning they have a residence visa, and the law imposes responsibilities and obligations on them. Well, of course, the regulation of this rental process also imposes restrictions on you. You can't just evict someone if they work for you. There are certain mechanisms there, and here this market is very civilized, well regulated, and in fact, it is comfortable to work here. In contrast to Russia, the operations in this field are different. As an alternative, you have the option to engage a property management company to oversee the management of your apartment, similar to a hotel. This company will take a percentage from the rental income and may choose to rent it out for short intervals, such as during the season, on a daily or weekly basis. Additionally, during the off-season, the apartment can be rented out for longer periods of time. This enables you to boost profitability, but it's not universally in demand. For instance, if you purchase an affordable unit in a residential area, then naturally, there's no need to discuss having a management company rent it out daily. There you can count on such a solid annual contract. But if you can invest more in the purchase and get something in the center, somewhere near the sea, near the beach, in a tourist area, then of course it's best to attract that management company that will maximize your profit and also take care of all the hassle. I would also like to make a remark that legally you are not allowed to rent out on a monthly basis. Of course, some people do it, but in reality, as the owner, you can only rent out on an annual contract. Anything shorter than a year is considered short-term rental, which in Dubai is a licensed activity, and this is exactly what those trust companies managing your assets, are engaged in. Based solely on practical experience more often than not, when individuals take into consideration our specific case of long-term rental, they tend to opt for residential areas rather than pursuing inflated prices in popular locations such as Business Bay or Marina. Your final income that you may not always be able to calculate in advance will depend on many factors, and the same breakthrough companies often manipulate numbers. Since they take the percent immediately, and they must report accordingly on the occupancy rate and the money received. And there too, based on numerous reviews, not everything is as transparent as it seems, and even particularly large companies, the ones that have already had their fill, are the ones who tighten the screws more severely, not in your favor. And in my brokerage practice, primarily experienced investors who also possess a substantial capital which they desire to preserve, frequently divide it into multiple units and invest in high-quality, non-small rooms, not studios, and often not even one-bedroom apartments, but rather two-bedroom ones. They purchase in residential areas with existing communities, good infrastructure, and these two-bed apartments are occupied by families with children, moving in with their own furniture for the long term, extending their stay for several years. They settle in, no turnover in these large units, and generate a stable income. Yield can reach up to 8% or more, but the market norm is considered to be 6 to 8%. In this corridor, you can anticipate profitability without any intermediaries. Recently, a comprehensive series of reviews of projects suitable for generating passive income, specifically for long-term rental, has been published on my channel. They are situated in various communities. Developers in those areas provide unique terms, specifically a multi-year payment plan that you can begin repaying after the completion of the project, offsetting competitive payments and thereby purchasing a high-quality unit for a small budget. Certain developers additionally provide guaranteed income payment conditions. In this case, the offers differ from one company to another. Well, there are companies that offer guaranteed returns right after the unit is put into operation. They typically take your unit under management for 3 years, and then you can extend or of course opt out of the contract. But there are companies willing to provide guaranteed returns even during the construction phase. This is applicable if you do not need installment payments, have capital ready to invest, and pay the full cost of the apartment up front. In this case, you will receive a guaranteed return. According to the latest offers, it's 8% annual return. House built over 3 years, accumulating at 8% annually, totaling 24%. A quarter returned as income before construction finishes. You not only cooked, but the price will also go up. A quarter will be given back to you as cashback, and you will keep receiving guaranteed income. Developers provide cool conditions. For those interested, I'll discuss specific projects in reviews. Check the links in the description of this series of reviews on my channel. Write to me about any questions you have, what I can recommend within your budget, your case, the situation with payment tranches, and I will find the optimal offer for you that will provide profitability. Together, we will calculate how much you can earn, and most importantly, the icing on the cake. Of course, it's especially nice that you can invest income obtained from an unknown source without supporting documents, transfer money through crypto, invest in the Dubai real estate market, legalize it, obtain your tax-free property, enjoy tax-free income from this property, and receive a stable, already official, confirmed currency flow to your accounts. Based on purchasing real estate here, you obtain residency, open local accounts, and receive network accruals on them. That is why individuals truly engage in this passive income scheme in Dubai, until the subsequent reviews, my buddies, and I hope you achieve success.